Another day and more conflicts. We're going to take a look at the markets mostly. There's not a lot went on in the change of anything in stocks. We got a few to look at. So let's get started with that. Take a quick run through our watch list so you can pause and see what showed up. Then we'll talk about the markets and then we'll look at the charts. It's your bear alerts. Remember that's 2 days. So if you have a down value greater than the profit value, then it just showed up today. So everything pretty much showed up today other than this stock. All of them showed up today actually. Two bulls, big $11 pop on Dillard's. Most of that was gap, so that wasn't tradable profit. There's two bear stocks going into the bear zone today, and three bulls. And we'll look at the recaps. You can tell more about what's been showing up. Would be a better indicator of what you might be trying to do. On the markets, here's your Dow. Fed Powell spoke before the Senate. They didn't really want to hear him saying probably 4 rate hikes next year. So we got a good pullback after the market chopped around there for a while. Here's your early open this morning, and then we chopped around and then started this sell-off around 115. On the SP 500 is what I like to look at. This is a SPY just so you can see what it did today. Pulling back, here's your 50-day. And then the SP 500 is what I use for my gauge. Yeah, I mentioned the other day we got up in this area. If you did a Fibonacci here, that we've had a 61.8 fib retracement. And we'll probably get a little pullback anyway. Well, we did get the pullback today. Here's your 50-day. It's the intraday chart of the SP 500. And you can use your AD lines on days like today. I use them every day. Started out the morning losing ground, got that little bounce, and then we went back to losing more ground. I have an alert on this, some conditions I have set that will set this off sometimes, and like I don't even see, but I'll see in a few minutes. And I had that thing reset for restart every 15 minutes for 2 years. So I actually picked up right here, threw in the room to watch the markets, and then we got this big sell-off. And then later on I got the alert again as it started back down again. We are this 50-day probably don't matter about anything, but it is interesting when you watch this stock how it will bounce, or this chart how it'll bounce off old levels. The SP 500 though looks like we are probably headed back to test the 50-day. We certainly need to hold that when we get there, and I pretty much kind of expect us to. The scenario is if this gaps down tomorrow morning below the 50-day, it becomes huge. Then you got to get back over it. So if we gap down tomorrow morning, and maybe we gap all the way down to this little support line, which is not a whole lot of anything, and we bounce and we reject, that's the biggest thing. If we reject this from the bottom side, we actually want to gap down to it, hold it from the top side, maybe a little pierce, and then come right back up. That's what we want to do for our market strength. If we gap below and we can't get back through, that's going to be an issue, and we're probably going back down to visit some trend lines like some of these. Take a look at the charts. Don't rush into any kind of swing trades right now because you have zero idea what's going to happen. Let the market tell you. This is a mini tutorial on what the lines mean on my charts if you're a first-time viewer or been a while since you viewed. We're scanning on weekly and daily charts for my condition. When this green line is up, it's my bull zone, and when the red line is up, it's my bear zone. You need to be aware of support and resistance lines and what charts do at levels, and that's what these levels are for. Just quickly as I can do this, and we're going to put a video on YouTube getting more from your swing trading charts that'll be more detailed and look at more stocks, how they react to these lines. But the gist of what you see here is this is what I'm scanning for, and as you can see here, this showed up in the bear zone. It did go down for a few days, but these green lines are support, and that's why it fought for a few days, tried to bounce back up, headed back down again, came right back into the bull zone, bear zone, excuse me, and continued on down. Now the lines, here's what they represent. A green line is a place that a stock went up to and rejected. So as this green line redrew itself every time we made highs right here, and then it stayed across here for reference points, continues the same line here for reference points. Resistance, when you get above it, becomes support. This green line was drawn way back in the history, and when this stock broke above this resistance level, when it came back down, it held it, it held it, it held it, it tested it and held it again and again. That was support. That's why I want you to be aware of what these lines mean. You'll see them on my charts. And then the activity that stocks do, sometimes they go, that's my first target, that's my second target. Many times stocks go target 1, pull back a little, target 2, then they may pull all the way back to 1 and go again if they're continuing an uptrend. In this case, it did the pull back. This blue line is a 50-period moving average. This orange line is a 200. So that's what I want you to be aware of as well. And then I have a pivot system that consists of this blue line at the top, yellow line at the bottom, and my target 1 and target 2. You'll see this particular day this stock gapped down, huge gap down, open way down here. The low on this stock was 169.68. I'm getting that right out of this box over here. And the value of that yellow line was 169.67. Within 1 cent, it held that line and bounced that day for a huge bounce. It's not a support level, but it's where I look for stocks to try to hold. It's where I look if I'm short, say from here, this is where I'm looking to get out. I'm looking to move 2 levels, target 1, target 2, going up, target 1, target 2. The pink lines all represent places the stock has gone down to and bounced. This pink line is referencing this last pivot low. So as you're selling down into it, it may bounce again. If you get below it, then it becomes resistance. And that's all these lines mean. I just want you to know what they mean going forward. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get started. Through time, I've got several comments and emails from viewers that don't subscribe to our services but do watch our videos and basically say, hey man, I'm getting some good trades off your videos. I wish there's a way I could contribute, and I don't want to sign up for a membership. So I finally went and made a donation button. You can find it 2 places. On any video, we're included at the bottom. You just click the show more button, and shortly down there you'll see support our channel, a donation through PayPal. You can click right here, pay through or make a donation through PayPal. Any amount you want to put in there is acceptable and appreciated. And then on our website, you can go to daytradersetups.com, press the YouTube menu item. It'll take you to this page, and there's a donate button there as well. And we appreciate that, appreciate the suggestion, and thank you ahead of time for any donations sent. We appreciate it a lot. I'm going to start out the video. One of our subscribers had asked me about this particular setup on AbbVie today, and I told him I'd explain it. the way our alerts work, we got two alerts. One is a 2 for short, 2 for long, and we trade the same thing over and over on what we call factors. And AbbVie's stock I normally day trade a lot, and I day trade a lot on my 25 factor, bigger stocks on a 50 factor. This stock actually came in at about right in here, letting me know that I had a predicted red zone alert. It was technically past my pivot area into my red zone, but it had not confirmed a trade. It was giving me a price if it just continued down when it would confirm the trade. And that's our projection alert that sends that out and gives the value. The value at that time was 120.26, I think, which would have been down in this area. So I'm getting an alert here that if this continues down to 120.26, that it's going to be a short setup, and I put that in a trade room. But I don't really expect it to do that because it's in my red zone, but it hadn't confirmed. Normally when that happens, I'm going to get my Z pattern, which is this downward motion, back up, and then break down again. When a Z pattern occurs, it'll actually raise the price to take the short. So it did exactly what I thought. I started watching this at 10:25 or something like that when it first showed up on my alert. We get an alert up to 4 factors in advance, and so that's like $1 ahead of time. But it did give the Z pattern. So when it came back, I'm using this on my daily chart. This is a 50 period moving average right here. Don't really have anything to do with the trade on a 5-minute chart. But when it your VWAP's right in here though. This little orange line. I don't think the basic chart, it got nothing on it. Anyway, it did what I thought it should do. It retraced a couple of factors, 50, 60, 75 cents. And it went back nicely to this open price, which is always a helpful and an inflection point. Well, when it did this, it started half a Z pattern. I already know that. And I want to see it come back down. I'm really not sure how far it's going, but I really want it to hold in my red zone. And it did that. And then it raised the short price to 46 cents. Well, I'm watching it, and I took it early at 76 cents and picked up this trade right here. And like I said, our original alert was at 26. It adjusted itself to 46. I posted that, and I ended up coming in early. Now, second trade we teach is a retracement. And this is basically, I'm going to draw a trend line. If you draw the trend line, of course, you took that trend line out to the upside. But we got retracement set up that makes the move back. Didn't have anything to do with the VWAP. In this case, it was nice. It went to the VWAP and it reversed again. Now the second trade didn't confirm. We don't take it right here just because of all the chop for one thing. I want a complete confirmation, and I'm trading this on a 25 factor chart, so I'm going to have a full 2 or more reversal of the factor. So it was a 50-cent reversal minimum requirement to make me look. And that alert was to go back in at just below $120, which puts you down, way down here. Way down here. You don't have to make this money because this is the risk factor. By waiting on some confirmation now, if you drew another trend line across this bounce, you've taken that out. And you want to take that out. And I got enough reversal to trigger my re-entry. I also didn't go high enough to get just like this came into my red zone and didn't give a confirmation of a trade over here, I don't want this to get out of my red zone. And it was it probably could have went up as far as another probably factor and a half, another 30 or 40 cents even, and would have still maintained itself in my red zone for a re-entry to the downside after it had time to confirm. And so sometimes you might get something that'll run up beyond the VWAP, and when it is confirming to go back short, but it's on top of the VWAP, and you got to let it work yourself through the channel and get you a trend line. It's what I like to do, and that's what this did here. Now, I did not take the second trade. We were talking about I missed it. I walked away because of and got some lunch, but the Fed quit talking right about here. A lot of things did start moving, so we were looking at some other stocks, and I just didn't go back and pick this up, even though I had it on a chart. I just overlooked it. But that's our classic setup, both ways. One, it triggered pay attention. It gave a Z pattern, which is even stronger than just continuing on down. Higher probability of not. Sometimes you'll get the alert to go short, and it'll still go back and do a Z pattern and come on down. So I like it when it occurs prior to confirming the entry. So this is just a classic of what we trade and what we look for in every aspect of what this stock did today. And we do them exactly in the opposite way. And that's the only two things we look at short, and the only two things we look at long. We look at them on bigger factors when we're looking at swing trading. If I'm going to swing trade this stock, I'm going to take it up to a 50 or a 100 factor. We have those divided up into watch list of what factors are determined for day trading and what factors are the best suited for swing trading. So come over and check our site out. Day Trader Setups, swingtradersetups.com. Premium alerts at Swing Trader Setups is where you get these alerts and learn how to filter and work them. You know, nothing's easy. If you want to make big dollars and you don't want to scalp, or you haven't been able to be successful at taking these little scalps that a lot of these trade rooms trade, and I know they do, and they do it well. I don't do it well. I trade well. So I'm teaching how I trade. And I got the alerts. You don't even need to come to a trade room. You just watch the alerts. You create your filters on a small list of stocks you want to watch from the 400 that I'm watching, or sending alerts out on. I'm not watching 400. I'm watching about 20 myself. And you'll build yourself a nice career. Thanks for watching our video. We're going to get right on into these charts. Okay, thanks for bearing with me there. On the bear breaks, let's get on the weekly charts. CRZO is working its way back into this weekly bear zone. It's also losing support. So we're breaking out of this this is a consolidation back through here, if you put it all in one group. So it's kind of pretty negative right here on this weekly bear break. Dish, this is just continuation. It's been in and out of the weekly bear break down here. That's why we show you the chart, so you can see this is when we said this is a bear break on the weekly. These are just continuations of this long-term trend, and we want you to pick them up on consolidation, or at least have an opportunity to know that they're coming out of consolidation and to know if they've been here before. We want you to get the earliest possible look at these. Again, this is a stock that went into the weekly bear here. It's continued down. It's base for 4 weeks, and the price level that it took the weekly bear was back up here is not the same as it is today. It recalculates as it continues down. So it recalculated itself and continued to recalculate through these last 4 weeks, and now it's actually traded itself back into a weekly bear again, which this is continuation. That's why we want you to see this is our true, this is all we're scanning for, is our true false statement, and it came back true here, and that's what we like for you to see. And then to to explain a little more, I think you saw that on the tutorial. We like to have our what we call our power level with it, and then we have trend stability as the little green dash when I can get it to turn solid like it did here and here, that I'm keeping the lows of the weekly candles or daily, whatever it may be, at a high enough level that my strength of my trade is still really well intact. First time on the list here on MHK. Now, it's been daily for a long time. This went daily bear zone way back up here and sideways here lately, and it's probably not going back bear zone daily anytime soon. It's so far down here. On the weekly chart, it's the first time it's been in a weekly bear zone. It's not a consolidation now, so it's just measuring the price movement that's gaining strength to the downside, but it's not breaking out of consolidation. And the last one we have is this was a big gap down today. Here's your support resistance lines. It gapped and opened just below one line and took out another. Actually went below both and came up into this old support resistance and pretty much stopped there. That number's 3160. The high of the day was 3150. So this level that was here from way back here, an old bounce spot, old support, new resistance, and that's where it resisted when it tried to come up today. Now on your weekly chart, you went down into a big support area. This was an old place it couldn't get through a long time ago, an old high that it broke through, and after it broke through, you see, it's what we teach. It came back and tested it weeks and weeks later as support. Old resistance, new support. Well, now we went back down here again, and it's trying to hold it. It is below it. This is your key level you got to get back through for this stock. It's on the 200 week as well. This number is $32.05. I'm picking that right up out of this box here. It gives you the value, 5 greens and 5 pink lines together, and that's what you got right there. 32.05 is that number. Get over here to the weekly bulls. Dillard's. This is a gap up. It triggered here, but it was already way up here. Went into the 200 week. It also went back into this old high right here. Is what's plotted right here, and it pierced that level and did fall back below that number, $83.44. High today was $84, and it pulled back and closed below the resistance, 83.44. Here it is on the daily chart, right into these old highs. And this stock don't like old highs now, because right here, I think it was here, yeah. I remember shorting this. I've been watching this months ago, and I was watching it to go revisit, and this particular day that it ran up, it was like a $4 or $5 day, and I had this alert go off that I had set way back down here. When this gets there, I want to know about it, and it hit that alert that day, and we got a monster sell-off because it hit the old resistance. This stock does not like to react well to those resistance points. So this is a big one here, long time back. You can see it on your weekly chart way back here. So it may take it a few days to get through this hurdle. Obviously, it had some very strong earnings, and then it's got another hurdle to be up here at this next level. And that's why you see how our crazy lines work. This level right here is represented by this plot. As it came down, it looked for the next level to level off at. It leveled off here for quite some time, and then it needs to calculate again. So it moved down again, and it picked up this spot. Well, this line is now taking this one's place. It'll proceed here for quite a while, so as this comes up, it'll let us know when we get there ahead of time. That's why I have the crazy lines on my chart. If you're going to swing trade and day trade, you need to know where these stocks have reversed before or had resistance and support at, and that's what the green and the pink lines are all about. You don't have to have them on every chart you got, But if you're going to have your money invested, you need to know, you need to have a roadmap. HQY, first week into the bull zone here. Pretty big slingshot the last 2 or 3 days off the 200. And this definitely is not in a, obviously it was already in an uptrend before we had the, you can see here was our daily uptrend. We had this in a bull zone before the market sell off. This is actually, after the market started bouncing, it went into that bull zone. It's actually pulled back now on this crazy move. I don't really know what caused that 2 or 3 days ago, but it's made a huge rebound. This could have been an earnings play. I don't think so based on the date here. It's a month away. But back on your weekly, it tried to get into the weekly bull zone here, had this crazy pullback. It's back there again. So this is pretty strong looking chart. We'll look at the few we got on the daily and wrap this up. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter or StockTwits at Daytrader Setups. And our website is daytradersetups.com and swingtradersetups.com. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by our premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. They're real-time alerts. They're posted on our website, and we're looking at our bull zone weekly and daily breakouts and our bear zone weekly and daily breakouts that are in one category on the website. And there are other categories that are more aggressive for the more active trader as well. And by having a subscription to that service, you get all these alerts intraday as they happen, and one subscription gets you access to everything, as well as our chart system. If you would like to get it, I can set you up a couple of different ways to have the green and pink lines available for your charts as you review. Let's go forward. Not going to have a lot with the way this market is acting. We got 2 bears. This was a gap down from several days ago off of earnings, and it's just down here in the bear zone. It's always been, so it's nothing new. And it's not, to me, it's not a setup to be getting involved. If you were going to short this stock, you should have been way back up here. CRZO, we had this on the weekly bear, gap down today on the daily. You got 3 bulls today getting added to the list. Up into the bull zone. First time in several weeks it's been in this big chop and consolidation, so this can be the first sign of this trying to continue on up. We already talked about Dillard's, and DK gap up above the bull zone has been in somewhat of this little consolidation. This could hover around here a day or two and head up. It could head up tomorrow morning. Good strong gap, and the pullback, the low a day was 35.41. This little pivot high right here was 35.08, so it's kind of respecting this last little spot that it tried to reverse and go up. Couldn't get back through, got resistance, and it's kind of holding that area. So that's a good thing it's holding here. You want it to hold there if it's going to continue on up. If it gets a little bit below, maybe pulls back, tests the 50-day, and then comes back up, you want it to get back over this high as a minimum and step back into the bull zone if it fades away from it. We're going to look at the recaps and we'll be done. Going to look at the recaps, and I can't caution you enough. There's nothing that says you got to get in a trade tomorrow. This market is kind of in that little limbo zone here. We got to see what it's going to tell us. Our subscribers that use our other factor system on the live alerts, there's a lot of good setups that set up today for shorts if the market goes down tomorrow, and many develop today. I'll be using the 50 factor on those. or look at ones that went into the 50 factor early or late today for a re-entry, where like ABV was actually on a 25 factor for day trading. It's setting up to predict into the 50 factor for swing trading. That predicted trend shift is at 117.91, which is very close to there on the close. Now, this is kind of similar to how it's set up on the day trade today. It's into the red zone pivot area, but it has not confirmed. Now, if it just continues on down tomorrow, that's where it confirms. It could very easily go back and retrace slightly on the factors. So maybe if we're on a 50 factor, $1.20 rise from where it closed at, still maintain itself positioned to go into the red zone on the bigger factors. So that's just one I just was looking at, and I see it right here now. So I would look maybe for that to bounce to the 119.40 or 50 area if it bounces at all. If it doesn't go ahead and take out the 118 area to put it into the red zone, which you could very easily do, especially at the open. I love for them to trigger and then go back, and I love for them to do it in 30 minutes or less. You get that gap down, maybe you get that trigger, and then he goes right back up to the form the Z pattern into that 119.40 or 50 area, and then heads back down. And when I get that reversal, I'll be looking at something below 119, 118.75 to come forward into that, and you probably want to be more in the 118.75. It wouldn't actually probably trigger to the 117.91 would still probably be maintained as the trigger price for the red zone even after the bounce. But if it does trigger that first and then revisits, I'm going to look for a reversal off the top of about 60 or 75 cents before I try to get involved. So that'd be a nice watch for tomorrow, ABBV, if you're looking for a stock to start your morning with. Don't rush into it. Let it figure it out. Most of the time I don't even take a trade until about 10 or 10:15. Now I'll get an early trade a couple of times a week. I got to be in love with it, and it has to be really fast and timely. It's hard to put that out on the internet. I took Baba this morning for a real nice short early, and other days I may go to 10:15 and not take one. And I sat and watched Nvidia and Netflix go up, and I'm like knowing they're going up, but I wasn't willing to take the risk early. And so I ended up, especially on a long, so I ended up taking Baba to the short side and got a real nice hard sell off there in the first 30 minutes. Then it gave a bounce, and then it sold off even more. That was some of our big trades today. Was American Tower, AMT for a nice bounce. Baba was a real early short. ABV was a small, longer time frame short. I picked up a Ulta on the fly. It was a pretty nice little run up when the market wasn't doing anything. I don't know what caused that one to go by itself, but I didn't really care. I liked what the setup was, and it was just real fast. Just grabbed it when I saw it, and it ended up being a pretty nice run. But here's your recaps on the bears. You've had plenty of time to pause the video and be able to see where the stocks are. If you've been watching our videos, you know what all the lines mean. And I'm going to let you take a look at the bull recap. Slide these down where you can see all the symbols. These are the last 5 days. I'll have to slide this down before you get a better look. And these are some that are still, even with down today on Adobe, it is still in the, it's not completely still in the bull zone. It don't have your check mark. It lost that area, but it's still got the strength in this move. It still hadn't even come down far enough on the low to come out of my trend stability. You could draw a trend line on this. So these are stocks that are still intact. They just had a bad day. So if the market turns and heads back up, especially if it gapped down to the 50 like we were talking about, these are some stocks that may turn right around and head right back up and resume what they were doing. And some of them hadn't even pulled back, like MU. It's still intact, still holding the bull zone, still holding everything we want to see here. NOW, another good day here. 277 PANW. This had earnings. This was up by $10 this morning and came back down. So a little different there, but it's been on the list for 3 days because it broke in the bull zone back here. But we do caution about being involved in stocks going into earnings. So it gives you a chance to see the ones that are still performing well. This stock didn't go up at all today. Actually came down a little bit. It's still up above the areas it needs to be in. And if the market continues back up, these are some good go-to stocks, the ones that are still intact here. Have a good evening. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our channel. Come over and check out our website. There's nothing easy about it. You won't find $3 stocks. You won't find $10 stocks. You won't find us trading stocks that were $3 yesterday and they're 10 today. That's not what we do. We trade what we can predict. We put an alert system out. You don't even have to come in a trade room to learn how to use our system. You just take your group of stocks. You don't try to watch 400 stocks. You take a group of stocks, create your watch list, use our filter system to watch for our alerts on your preferred stocks from our list of 400 stocks. We also bring in some outside the 400 list. We do some earnings. We don't do every earnings stock. I'll pick out 7 or 8 probable candidates that can produce some good day trades, and I put them in a special list of scans that are identified as earnings. You could just do nothing but watch our earnings list, which is always a small list of probably less than 25 stocks. And I'll put them on there. I'll leave them for 4 or 5 days sometimes if they're still intact and still giving some good price action. You could just take earnings stocks alone, do nothing but sit and do a filter of alerts, fire it off on the earnings stocks, plan your trades, learn our system, and make plenty of money doing nothing but that. The biggest reason day traders and even active traders that trade into multiple 2 and 3 day trades miss trades is they're watching too many. And that's one of the things that I realized with our alert system once we got this launched. We've been working on this for 6 months, and we really got a lot of things worked out in the last 4 or 5 weeks ago that are consistent, and that's what we need is consistency and not duplication. That was the biggest problem we had. We knew what our alerts were supposed to tell us, but they were firing over and over on the given day that they were trying to fire, and we wanted to eliminate that. We got that done about 6 weeks ago, and we started working on our projection system, which we've now finished. And it can actually, if my green zone alert is going to alert you that we're going to be looking at a long alert at $100, it might tell you at 99.40 that that's going to happen. That don't mean it's going to $100, but it means if it does, it's very likely to be a continuation of multiple bars. And that's what we teach. We get our break. We use our Z pattern, the stocks that go into the green zone. We're expecting to pull back. We love that trade. So we take our Z pattern, we get 4 to 6 of our factors. So if you're on a 50 factor and you're in a multiple day trade, that's going to be $2 to $3. Then you're going to get a pullback. It's usually going to be between 4 to 6 times the factor. So that's another $2 to $3. It's going to hold where it's supposed to hold, and then it's going to give you a run of 6 to 8 factors after it confirms at least a 2-factor reversal to even come back and take the retracement. And that's the best trade we got out there, is that retracement trade. You've already got my 2 favorites are the Z pattern where it crosses into my green zone but it hadn't confirmed a trade. Gives me that pullback I want, 75 or 80 cents on a 25 factor, or $1.50, $1.80 on a 50 factor, and then it turns back up and confirms going into my green zone. You get that first trade, then you get the second one pullback, which would be a substantial enough pullback. On a 50 factor, you got a $2 to $3 pullback, and it holds where it's supposed to. It gives a confirmation of a reversal, and then you get the really good trade. That's my very favorite trade. A lot of options guys are trading that trade. Instead of trying to get in the beginning, they're taking that first pullback. So they know they got the green zone, it's on their watch list, and they're just waiting on that pullback. Come over and check it out. We'll teach you how to do it. It's not easy. If it's easy, everybody be doing it. $69 a month. Can't go wrong.